Welcome to episode 112 of the Friggin Nerds Podcast. I'm your host, Friggin Nerd Mario, as always joined by my partner in crime, the man who should sponsor wonton soup containers for the rest of his life. It's your boy, Friggin Nerd James. James, how you doing this fine evening?
What is up, Mario? What is up, Friggin Nerd crew? And this is true. Yes, I will forever be a sponsor of the wonton cups. Yes, usually you have soup in them, but my local area only puts lemonade in them. So
lemonade soup,
lemonade,
delicious, a southern
and
favorite.
Yes, I have 3 or more in the house right now that I use on a daily basis. So yes, brought to you by Wonton. Your local Chinese place.
Today's sponsor of the show. But anyways, guys, this is the Friggin Nerds Podcast. Each week, me and James here get together and talk the nerdy news you guys care about. Before we get into that, we got to get to that favorite segment that the audience loves. We got to hit them with that swear jar.
And for gosh sake, watch your language.
Each week we have a keyword that we are not allowed to say during the podcast. Each time that word is said by that specific host, they get 1 point. The host with the most points by the end of the episode will be our loser and have to endure 2 Birdie Butts every flavor beans. Now, we've been gone for a minute. We were gone for a week. Oh, it's the 1 week. But it seems that the Friggin Nerd community does want to punish us a little hardcore this week. So it's gonna be an interesting one, James.
What is it?
It's gonna be a fun one, James. It's gonna be a great one, James. You notice I'm saying your name a lot because I might not be able to say it. I might not.
My name?
It might be. It might rhyme with your name. Today's swear jar word was provided by Friggin Nerds Media's own Merlin, aka Stargazer Tim, aka Two Tims, and he provided us with the word James.
Oh my gosh! Because of
because we do have a news story about a very famous James, and we have and one of our co-hosts here is a very famous James, so we have a lot of James action today. So I might have to call you Jimmy or something.
Yeah, Jimbo.
Is like Jimbo or Jimmy allowed? Probably, yeah. It's got to be James.
It has to be.
James has to be the word.
Yeah.
So I think that's what we're gonna be. We're going to go right into it. So after this sentence, we can't say the word James. Starting
James
right
James Jones.
Now. I think you should be good because I don't think you really say your own name very often.
Should be good.
So I think it should be good. But we will talk about that name of somebody who does say their own name very often. We're going to be... it's going to be so hard to read. MCU star Aaron Taylor Johnson reportedly offered the role as the next 007. Provided by Info Dump, Aaron Taylor Johnson has gotten support from a former Bond actor after rumors the Bullet Train star got offered to be the next 007 agent. George Lazenby, who portrayed Bond in 1969 film On Her Majesty's Secret Service, gave his seal of approval to Taylor Johnson following reports that he was in contention for the role. According to a recent TMZ report, Lazenby and Taylor Johnson would be able to handle the stunts and all the ladies who love a man in a tux. Lazenby also noted that he doesn't think Taylor Johnson has the role yet because when he auditioned for the part back in the 60s, he went through a bunch of different tests and auditions before he went on to the role. So it's a lot of talk around, around the water cooler. There's been a lot of talk around the water cooler about who potentially could be the next Bond.
Yeah.
But this seems to be the one that's really sticking hard because everyone's talking about it. It's everywhere. Everyone's reporting on it. So
Yeah.
this was one of the guys that I had kind of in my list of potential Bonds.
Okay.
Because of Bullet Train, funny enough, when I saw that movie, he's not very Bond-esque in the movie,
Yes.
but
Agreed.
but he's got a nice 3-piece suit on. He's kind of dashing. And I was like, I could maybe see that in the future, maybe potentially, sure, why not? But as you guys, if you watch the show enough, I'm always putting my name in the hat for Henry Cavill. Probably not going to happen at this point, especially if this is confirmed that Aaron Taylor Johnson's going to be moving forward potentially.
Right.
So I guess let's kind of ask the chat, and I'll ask you, Jimmy. What are your thoughts on his potential casting, and how true do you think it is?
Potential casting, I think, is great. He's young enough and built enough and has a ton of acting credits under his belt to portray the infamous Bond 007. And so and also he's a Brit, I believe, as well, or some from that area over there, from across the pond. So I think everything just checks off. Is just, does his past portrayals or his ability as an actor fit the direction they want to go with this new iteration of Bond? And so that's my big question. Where are they going with this Bond? Are they going younger? I heard they were going back to the original, kind of like he's already established, dapper, not so much an origin story like we saw with Daniel Craig. So if that's the case, are they going with a younger, already established one and maybe get like 3 or 4 movies under his belt? I don't know where they want to go with the direction, but I like this actor a lot. I like his look. And I think even with a short haircut, because you see him a lot with the long hair, especially recently because he's playing Craven, I think he fits it and has the physique to do his own stunts and walk in the beach like any Bond would without a shirt and catch the attention of so many people. So sign me on. My boy, aka Quicksilver, aka Godzilla, I forgot he was in that, aka Bullet Train. Get him in there. And he was in one of my favorite movies he's been in, and I think where I first noticed him, Kick-Ass. He was amazing in that. So yeah, sign me on. I'm all aboard. I hope it's true. I think I go under 60% that it's true, probably under 40% that it's true, but we'll see.
Yeah,
What about you?
it's like I am excited about it. I think it's a good casting, but yeah, it's one of those things where now I'm like, I like almost trust these leaks now, because look what happened to us in the MCU world with Pedro Pascal. They were like, it's
True,
like, it's rumored he's going to be Mr. Reed Richards. We're like, no way, that's ridiculous. And then people kept talking about it, and then here he is. So if this is true, I think yes, I think it's going to be a great role for him. He's kind of done in the MCU. I don't think they're going to use him as Quicksilver ever again.
Right.
I don't think. I mean, I doubt they're going to make 5 more Kraven the Hunter movies.
Mhm.
So I think this is a good thing for him, because when you're in that role of Bond, you're stuck
solidified
until it's done. Daniel Craig didn't do anything, and look at Craig now. He's done like 20 other movies since the end of No Time to Die. So, which I love. I mean, like, that's kind of the
do Girl in the Dragon tattoo in between.
Was that during after Casino Royale?
I think so, and Defiance.
Defiance is a good movie,
bro. Right?
I love Defiance.
Not many people talk about that joint.
That's a
Him
good
and what's his
movie.
name? Who played Sabretooth was in that joint.
Yeah,
and killed it.
That's a good movie. That's a real good movie.
So, but yeah, no, I think you're right. Like, Because there's usually what 3 or 4 years in between each film, a Bond film.
Wrong one. Usually like it depends. It used to be back in the day. It'd be like several. It'd be like several months to a year between. But not that nowadays. It's like 4 years because of just how movie making is nowadays. It's on a big spectacle now. It's huge. I think. Well, I mean. It felt like almost a decade between not Skyfall, A Spectre and No Time to Die because of COVID, because that movie got delayed over a year. So yeah, so it's going to take time. So it's going to be interesting to see him age with the character, because it's an average of like four movies probably. You know, that we'll see if he's going to last that long, if he wants to do 4. You know, some of the, like, Connery did 7 movies. I think Connery did 7. Lazenby did 1. Roger Moore did maybe 7 or so.
Oh my gosh.
I forget.
Craig did 5 as Bond, and Casino Royale came out 2006. Quantum of Solace came out 2 years after. Skyfall came 4 years after Quantum of Solace. Spectre came 3 years after Skyfall in 2015. And then No Time to Die came out 6 years after Spectre.
Imagine how annoyed Bond fans were. Like, we always are sitting there waiting. Brosnan did
years.
Goldeneye, Tomorrow Never Dies, World's Not Enough. He did 4. The only one that did 2 was Timothy Dalton.
He did
2.
Yo, he batted 1,000 on those 2. I don't care what anybody
Those
said.
were the most, like, because that's when they were trying to transition to like it being more, because the Roger Moore run was so goofy and ridiculous, and then they started to move on with it being more like brutal, and then like they kind of went with Pierce, but then even Pierce Brosnan's got a little goofy here and there.
The last one was kind of goofy,
because that's what they compare Daniel Craig to in the beginning in Casino Royale. Like that was like a Dalton performance,
bro. Dalton is one of my favorites. I think it's Craig and Dalton for me. I'm sorry, it's Craig, then Dalton, then Pierce Brosnan. Like, I'm sorry, but like those iterations, I love Sean Connery, and I love his iteration of Bond, and I think he's the gold standard in my opinion. But Dalton, man, he's so underappreciated.
Oh yeah, he was. And even like Lazenby was underappreciated. Like I still don't think he's a good Bond, but his movie, people gotta like try out Her Majesty's Secret Service again, because it's a good movie. It's like, so it has a very tragic ending, and it's insane, which No Time to Die was based a lot on Her Majesty's Secret Service, with the music and like other things like that. Like, you know, we have All the Time in the World. That's from Her Majesty's.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
when they're driving in the car. Like, I remember, I'm such a nerd with these movies. Me and my friend Dylan went to go see it, who I do Connery Curious with, and when they're driving in the DB5 at the beginning, and she's like, it's like, drive faster. It's like, we don't have to drive fast anymore. We have all the time in the world. I says, no way. And then the score in the background is from the old movie, and my mind was blown. Like, there's so many. Like, if you're not like a big deep Bond fan, you're not gonna catch. Like Star Wars, you'll always catch like the music in the background. You're like, that's from this movie. That's from that movie, and it's so cool. So freaking cool. But anyways, we're excited to see some Bond news. Hopefully it's going to be happening soon, because usually it's a big celebration. It's like having a new pope. Like they have like, I remember when Daniel Craig became Bond, they had like him come out on a boat. They're playing the James Bond theme. They had like a big press conference. So it's always a big celebration when they have a new Bond. So I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun.
I love that it still gets like the attention it does. Like, Bond has been out over 50 years. and it's still like just as relevant as it was back then,
because
which is
it's nothing
crazy.
like it. It's like there's a
Mm-mm.
million spy movies, but a lot of them come from Bond, and
Yeah.
like there's it's just the way that like that they are. It's like just the structure of them. Like every single one has a special theme song.
Yeah,
Their special
yeah.
gadgets, their special actors, and all that. It's like there's nothing like 007. That's why I love it so much, because it's like it's just so much fun. So I'm excited for the next one, man. So let us know in the chat, what are your favorite Bond movies, and are you excited for this new announcement of the new Bond? Okay, next we got some Marvel news, man. I've been dying to talk to James about this.
Ooh, redemption.
It's like, oh, some sip on, Escape Home with the sip on swag. I got you on that one. We'll be sure to mark you on that one. Enjoy your mug. We'll be getting that to you out soon. But X-Men 97 is finally out. I don't know about you, James, but it was kind of an accident, because I've been like, I had the subathon and stuff. My sleep schedule was totally messed up. I woke up in the middle of the night and I was like, I can't fall back asleep. I tried. I was like, nothing could put me back to sleep. So I was like, I'm just going to go on a computer a little bit, play some games. And I happened to pop onto YouTube and I saw that Marvel was doing a countdown for X-Men, because the first 2 episodes were dropping at 3 a.m. and it was around,
That's right.
and it was like 2:47, and I was like, oh, I should just wait for 3 a.m. and watch the first 2 episodes. And I did. As soon as
That's right.
as 3 a.m. hit, I watched the first 2 episodes of X-Men 97 and was not disappointed. But I wasn't the only one, because X-Men 97 viewership hits 4 million Disney Plus views in less than a week. X-Men 97 debuted last week on Disney Plus, and according to sources, it's a massive hit for an animated series. The follow-up to the classic 1992 X-Men cartoon reportedly racked up 4 million views in less than a week, and views for the classic episode skyrocketed over 500% as viewers got themselves prepared to return to Xavier's school for the gifted one more time. Critically, the show has been also a slam dunk. It currently sits with a 98% critical score and 92% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. It is fantastic. It is amazing. Blew my mind. So many emotions going
I was
through
say,
it.
what was your just thoughts 3 a.m. watching this? Like,
I cried. I'm man enough to say I cried, because it just, the way they structured it, it's so just from the beginning, where they recreated the opening theme song with like the same kind of graphics, Cyclops on top of the cliff and his name drops, and like Wolverine and all that, and like hearing that classic theme song just brings a tear to your eye. And I was like back, in my room as a kid, watching the show again, and it was awesome. But like they also like, it definitely gives you the vibes. The animation style obviously looks a little cleaner than it did back in the 90s.
Yeah,
but it's
for sure.
But it still feels like it was made in the 90s, and like even with some of the dialogue. But like, man, the story really hits. Like there are some emotional story beats. We'll get into some details, but James, let me get your first reaction to what were your thoughts watching this show come back?
I mean, just like you, it felt like I was home. It is as if we never left. We just took some time off, but like we never left, and we went right back into it. The intro kicks in. It's different because you got the addition of a Moore for a Bishop and stuff, and Magneto instead of Xavier. But like, once that song hits, I was like, all right, let's go. Like, what X-Men story are we going to see? And I was just excited for that, because everybody loved the animated series, and growing up, that was a lot of people's introduction to the X-Men, let alone the X-Men comics. And what a lot of people didn't know was those stories were from the comics. So the Phoenix Saga and even the Apocalypse Saga, like all of those were pulled straight from the comics. So I was excited to see a storyline that is from the comics again, like ripped directly from it. Because like I love the MCU, but I hadn't seen that. I've seen Civil War, but it's not like Civil War in the comics. I've seen Winter Soldier, but it's not like Winter Soldier in the comics. I've seen Infinity War, Infinity Saga. It's not like how it was in the comics. So to see the X-Men, my favorite group, who will beat the Avengers, I don't care who, if they have Hulk or Thor, the X-Men are the most powerful group. And to see them portrayed so accurately, because it's all about them dealing with being hated. It's always been about that. And to see that come back in a time period like this and to connect with the characters in some way, shape, or form, it just felt like we fell back into it. The animation, my gosh, is so well done. The action is so well done. And like the beats, the portrayals, Cyclops is redeemed based off how they treated my boy in the movies, and Storm, Aurora, like my bro, like a, and then Magneto, like I remembered why they were my favorite group. I remembered why they were my favorite group watching this, and I was just like, it was a good feeling. It was a great feeling. So good. It's so good. It's so good.
These 2 episodes, which were 30 minutes apiece, by the way, gang, in my opinion, had more emotional and value and good storytelling than anything Marvel put out last year.
Anything Marvel has put out since Endgame, in my opinion.
Oh, I think, yeah. Like there's nothing.
I mean, close to maybe Wakanda Forever, but that
Wakanda
was
Forever
just
has some
based.
good stuff.
Yeah, and you can even say No Way Home, like with Ant-Man or whatever.
Yeah, and then I like that. Yeah, I like how that story gets to, but just like it just man, I saw Magneto cry. I saw Magneto cry in this cartoon, man, when his tear went down his eye and he like stopped himself from taking down those guys. I was like, what, dude? Like this was as Scorsese would say, this is cinema. You know what
okay. I mean? This might be this is definitely recency bias, but I don't care. This is better than anything the MCU has done in the past like 15 years. I don't care. These 2 episodes is better than anything. Black Panther, Endgame. Recency bias, whatever. I love the X-Men. They, each individual in their backstory and who they are as a character, has more depth than most of anybody on the Avengers squad, in my opinion. And they nailed their portrayals. I can turn around right here and bring out like 30 X-Men comics right now and tell you about each character based off of those comics. What's going to happen next, especially after what happened with Storm? I have that issue. It's called Life and Death, and that's the title of the next episode, when Storm doesn't have her powers. Spoiler alert. Like, I have that issue. I remember reading it when I was freaking 10 years old, my son's age. And I'm like emotional at 10. You don't understand. There's a reason the X-Men issue #1 like is the best-selling comic ever. It's because the X-Men are the definitive best group in all of Marvel. I don't care. Yes, Fantastic Four, First Family. Yes, Avengers, popular right now, especially after the MCU. Yes, all of that is true. But you're not messing with the X-Men, bro. And those 2 episodes just showed why they were popular in the 90s and why people love them now to this day. Because if you nail the X-Men, bro, you can tell so many good stories that connect with so many people, black, white, no matter what. It doesn't matter your background. You will find a character that you connect with. And that's the point of the X-Men.
Hell yeah. And how, like, I feel like the world needed this cartoon as well, because it does kind of mirror some real world stuff as well,
Yes,
which was really crazy to see. And it's like shit, man, like that hit me too. I was like, man, it's like, imagine if the X-Men were there when the Capitol got raided. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? I'm like, just stuff like that, man. But yeah, I can't believe that they would hit that hard with an animated series. I think
it's a cartoon, bro. It's a cartoon. It's a cartoon. I never want to hear anybody say animated is the weaker medium. Yo, after Spider-Verse and now this, bro, get back in line, bro. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Speaking of Spider, we got that Spider-Verse short coming out tomorrow on YouTube. Which that's gonna be hype and like
so emotional.
I want to see how that's gonna be. Like, yeah, I feel like obviously, I mean, we don't want animation to be completely the future, because we do like to see our live action heroes like in person.
For sure.
But like, man, after seeing these first 2 episodes, I'm like, if I'm Marvel, I'm gonna scrap that Spider-Man freshman year and I make Spider-Man 99.
Yeah, the animated series.
Imagine they move on with that and they keep doing that. Like, go back to formula and continue the stuff that made it great. Like, imagine if you keep doing shit like this, and you can do crossovers there in the cartoon, and it'll be awesome.
The Daily Bugle's already in X-Men. And what's so dope about how they did it, it doesn't just hit the notes for us fans who are already fans of the animated series, who grew up with it. My kids are loving the crap out of it, man. Like, this can be an entry point for new kids who didn't grow up in the 90s. So now Marvel is hitting on all cylinders, because now you're growing a new 90s era group who got us back in the 90s, but now Marvel's getting the cats in the 2024 who's going to love it 30 years later with their kids, bro. Like, bro, like, just tell good stories and accurately portray the characters. That's all we're asking for. That's all we're asking for. And guess what? You don't have to create your own. There's millions of years of comic book stories for all the characters.
You have the stories. You can just open a book.
It's already written. It's already written. Just adapt it. That's it. X-Men 97 is showing you what happens when you do the characters right and portray them in a way that how they were supposed to originally be portrayed. It's just like Hogwarts Legacy, man. When you do the IP right and study and appreciate it and show the love you have for it in any medium, it's going to be reciprocated and you're going to make a ton of money. Stop doing your own thing, Disney. You're not doing good. Just do the right thing and just portray the characters correctly. Star Wars, Marvel, Pixar, whatever. Disney Princess, I don't care. Just do right by the characters and tell good stories. That's all we want.
Preach it. Preach it, brother. Preach it. Let them know what we want here.
Bro.
But speaking of things that we might want in the near future, or the past, if you will, we got some new Star Wars stuff here.
Oh my God.
We finally, this was a project that we've heard about through the Force, through many galaxies far, far away. We have our first trailer for The Acolyte coming to Disney Plus on June 4th. And man, we are going back. We're going far back, kids. We're going back 100 years before the prequels. So we're going old Jedi. We're going High Republic. Awesome stuff. excuse me, got the tremendous trailer. We're gonna break it down a little bit. James, what are your thoughts coming out of the Acolyte trailer, and what are your big excited images that you're very excited about here?
So I did a reaction. Both Mara and I did a reaction video for our respective channels, and we both came out kind of just like excited to see what they're going to do with this. Felt good to be in an entirely new era. Felt new. Felt something that's unexplored. So there's a like mystery behind it on top of the actual story being a mystery as well, with the Sith rising, with the time period being 100 years or so before the prequels. um I mean, you could have Darth Plagueis or his mentor or somebody. So there's a lot going on. And here in the description of it being they said Headland, I believe is the showrunner's name. She said when she pitched it, she said think Kill Bill and Frozen, which, okay, we know there's two sisters in the show. So a revenge factor from Kill Bill and the two sisters aspect from Frozen. Okay, I'm interested. So we got the Star Wars IP and we got a cool premise. Okay, darkness is rising. Okay, let's see how that is. Maybe we get a perspective of this High Republic era, but from the Sith point of view with them hiding. Okay, I'm interested. You see my girl Carrie Ann Moss from aka Trinity from the Matrix. Okay, I'm interested. We see lightsabers in the High Republic. Uh, Old school. I was like, okay, I'm interested. Okay. So now it's just execution. They filmed on location, so they didn't film in the volume, so it feels like lived in. I'm like, okay, I'm interested. So it's all that to say, I'm very interested to see what this is going to do. There's been some backlash online, which is backlash with anything. So I always encourage people, make your own choice decisions, and don't let anybody tell you how to feel and stuff. But I'm interested. I'm interested, and I just hope they do right by it, especially after the success, in my opinion, of an Ahsoka. Yeah, like dwindled down a little bit near the end, but I think overall it was a great show from what it did for Star Wars fans and fans of the Rebels series and of Ahsoka overall. So um, I think it's going to be dark. I think it's going to be heavy. I think it's going to be emotional. And I hope it nails that just with lightsabers. What about you?
Yeah, I mean, I got a real kind of kung fu samurai picture kind of feel with this. It's very like artistic and very beautiful, and a lot of cool choreography with fighting styles and all that. Of course, Carrie Ann Moss has been in the Matrix. She knows what she's doing. She's not her first rodeo, working around with magic powers and all that stuff. I think it's going to be dope, and seeing all these characters, man, like these Jedi. Like, you think about it, we, the world of Star Wars, we don't have a ton of movies that are like very heavily Jedi. The heaviest Jedi stuff was from the prequels. Everything else was always like one or two Jedi in the movie, and then your two Sith, the rule of two, and all that. You never have like a full on like Jedi storyline here. So I think it's going to be awesome to see more Jedi doing what we want to see them do, and kick some ass. So let's touch on this now. Let's theory craft a little bit, which we kind of mentioned both for reviews and then like in this discussion. 100 years in the past here, who's around, who's going to be in this, who are we going to see?
It just depends on where they're at. We know Yoda's still alive.
He's always alive. He's he's bazillion years old.
Yeah, Yoda died. He was like what, 600 or something. So when he died.
When 600 you become how old? Something like that. Yes, I think that. I think that's what it is.
Yeah. How you look? Yeah. I don't know how the lifespan of Wookiees. They did show a Wookiee, but that's a popular Wookiee who's actually a Jedi.
Yeah.
So that's a Wookiee Jedi from the High Republic novels, which I was scared of reading because Disney did away with the original stuff. and they came up with their own stuff. But I've heard great things about the first volume 1. I've heard great things about volume 2. Volume 1. I heard volume 2 kind of fell off a little bit, but these characters that you're seeing, the reason they're showing some of them, they might have like a longer look at these characters than the other ones, is because if you read the High Republic issues, those were main characters. Even the the Jedi in the green lady, she was a kid during those issues, and apparently she's grown up in this one. So that being said, familiarity for the general public, Yoda for sure, Darth Plagueis possibly, or whoever trained Plagueis. If you don't know, Plagueis was the one who taught Darth Sidious, aka Palpatine. That's the person he mentions when he's talking to Anakin in the opera bubble opera thing from
Yeah.
Revenge of the Sith. That's the person he's referencing. So I hope there's some nods to them. The thing is, what's so dope about this era is it's peaceful. The Sith aren't hiding because they got waxed. If you remember Coyote Mooney saying the Sith have been extinct for a millennia from Phantom Menace, when Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon was like, bro, like the Sith are back. Like we just went against this dude, Darth Maul, and like he's something serious. And so the Jedi, like, bro, like we wiped these dudes out. Like, who's killing us? Who's coming after us? So it's definitely going to be interesting to see whose name could be referenced that we heard or even shown that we heard about from the prequels. Because the closest thing we're going to have ties to is the prequels. Now, the planet they showed with that one person, a lot of people are saying that's the same planet where Luke was in The Last Jedi, Octo or whatever, where the original Jedi Temple was. And if you remember where the Jedi Council is, their place is on top of an ancient Sith temple or location. So it's so dope. It's like that. The Jedi didn't even know, but it's so dope. It's like that because there's a visual representation of balance right there. You have the Jedi temple on the top and the Sith on the bottom. Balance right there. And then if the original Jedi temple is also where the Sith was too, like the play on words and just the overall balance between those two, the Sith and the Jedi, I can't wait to explore. I'm scared that they might change it because one of the females was talking about it's not about light or dark, it's about power and to be able to harness it. Sounds like something a Sith would say, but I hope they don't change it and take it away from light and dark, because it's always been light or dark. George Lucas has always just been like, don't be tempted by the dark. If you do, you're going to become this. He's always been black and white when it comes to that. So I hope they don't do some gray stuff and like start changing some lore, but we'll see.
Yeah, it seems to be like their thing now. They like to have it be like where it's like everything blends now and there's no good and no evil. There's just like in the middle. I'm like, no, everything needs a good guy and a bad guy that makes movies interesting.
Yep.
But one thing I'm very curious about too that I've been trying to get into, they're very careful about character names. They're not putting out character names. I think Carrie-Anne Moss's character name is Indara, and
they had subtitles when you turned them on the captions. I'm sorry, they had captions that show the names. Yeah,
so they had a few names on there because I got a little excited because my boy Lee Jung Jae, who is in Squid Game and stuff, looking at him, my head went to. I was like thinking about the timeline. It probably isn't him, but how dope would it be if he was Sifo Dyas?
Whoa! Wait.
I don't think it is, because I think it's like because he was like technically a human, so I don't think he would have lived that long.
Yeah.
But there's not many, like, Asian Jedi that we've seen in the past, and the one big one is Sifo Dyas, who those who don't know, he's the one who was kind of betrayed by Dooku, and it was kind of like the side story of the prequels where like they couldn't find the plans for an Attack of the Clones, because it turns out that Darth Tyrannus, Count Dooku, erased them from the archives and took out Sifo Dyas in the process. We've seen Sifo Dyas, I think, in the animated series at some point. I remember seeing him in some episode of something. Clone Wars, I think. Maybe like that. But like, yeah, we've never really seen him on anything, so it'd be kind of cool to see that, because I do think that there's time jumping in this show.
You think so?
Because if you look,
the little girl.
Well, it's a little girl, but my boy, I'm gonna call him Sifo Dyas because that's what I think it is. The first scene we see in the trailer is him teaching the younglings, and he has very long hair, and he has a really cool white robes. But then there's a scene of all the Jedi together, and they look like they're at like outside of a cave or a temple, and he has like a very like short bowl cut, and he looks younger. So I think there's like time jumping here, and like I feel like that him with the white robes might be closer to the prequel times. And I think that we're going to be seeing the prequel, like before the prequels, and 100 years in the past, depending on how long,
I mean, if we have Octo, like, you can connect not only the prequels with General Sifo Dyas, but also the sequel trilogy as well, and kind of have this all connected in some way, shape, or form. Even going into the Rey movie that they're working on, with Rey wanting to create a new Jedi Order. So, like, I think going back to the past, is the best way of staying away from the Skywalker trilogy, because that's been just like abused right now. I'm sorry. But
There's
also I know there's really nothing left, but it also gives us something new, while maintaining the Jedi and Sith thing. That, I mean, all of us loved Ahsoka because we like their character, but it felt good to see lightsabers. Let's just be honest, it felt good to see lightsaber battles. So you get that with this as well, and you get to tell a totally new story, introduce new characters, which is what Disney wants to do, and is the best case scenario moving forward when you're trying to, again, step away from the Lucasfilm and maybe generate a new audience, a new generation of Star Wars lovers, starting with the High Republic and seeing how the Jedi and Sith came to be, and learning that history, which makes you appreciate even more what happened with the fall of the Jedi and the rise of the Sith, and the eventual return of the Jedi with Luke Skywalker. So I like the premise, and I hope it's executed. I'm just worried that they might do something to change what George Lucas originally intended when it came to the Sith and the Jedi. So I'm interested. Like I said it before, I'm interested, and we'll be watching that. And I think we get a 2-episode premiere as well, like with X-Men 97, and it comes out, I believe, June 4th or something like that.
I think it was June 4th.
Yeah. I'm interested.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. Like, they they did knock it out of the park with like Ahsoka, like you said before. But I do hope it does also have the kind of vibe that Andor had, because Andor was such a sort of special event where it was like unexpected. I feel like it was like, we didn't at first, we're kind of like, who gives a crap about this Rogue One character? We didn't care about Rogue One when it came out. Why were we going to see this? And then that show came out, and it was very good, and it was very different because it didn't really rely on the nostalgia really of Star Wars, where it really just told a story, an emotional story that obviously bridged the gap between the movies. We see him later on he was in prison and he's helping build the Death Star with these pieces and stuff like that. So it's a very emotional story, and I thought it was really well done. So I think if they go down that route and just make it a serious awesome show, I think they're gonna do just fine. So I'm excited to see it, excited to see if they do it, excited to potentially see Yoda again. Who knows, could be fun. But
a younger Yoda.
I want to see him young. What that guy, that dude's like Steve Martin. He was never young, he's always looked like old.
That gray hair, always there.
Always. But speaking of those old movies, a very fun thing I thought you guys would be interested in for May the 4th. May the 4th is coming very soon. You know, it's Star Wars Day, man. May the 4th be with you. Local theaters will be doing an entire 9-movie, 20-hour Star Wars Skywalker Saga marathon. If you're a Star Wars fan, have a lot of free time on your hands, here's something to consider. On May 4th, aka Star Wars Day, the entire 9-movie Skywalker Saga will play in theaters as part of a gargantuan, huge marathon event. The 9 movies will screen in chronological order, beginning with 1999's Phantom Menace and running through Rise of Skywalker, doing a timeline. But if anything, it's good because then I can leave early, because then I'll just stay through the Disney movies. I can just go home and watch the rest of them. So yeah, they're going to be to the rundown. So Phantom Menace, Attack of the Clones, Friends of the Sith, New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, Last Jedi, and Rise of Skywalker. But fun fact, everyone who attends the screening gets an advanced look at the Star Wars TV show, The Acolyte, and a limited edition poster. Tickets go on sale today on March 22nd. That was a long time ago. It's a 26th right now. They might still be on sale.
Shoot.
But if you're not up to the entire marathon, movie theaters are showing just The Phantom Menace starting on May 3rd to celebrate the movie's 25th anniversary. That's something worth to go see. I think I would like to go see that to kind of relive my childhood.
Yeah.
So fun little thing there, but I don't know if I can do. I love Star Wars, but I don't know if I can do 20 hours sitting in a movie theater. That'd be
20 hours.
That's a little too much for me, brother. But I mean, unless you go to like those nice like X Plus theaters or AMC theaters with the nice
laying
seats.
Down, yeah.
I'll be sleeping through half the movies. I think. I don't know if I'll make it.
Seriously.
So if you guys are interested in that, go check that out. That's gonna be a lot of fun. But one more little piece of news here from the Marvel world. We got a little bit of video game news here, man. We finally got a trailer for we were actually talking about it not too long ago, funny enough, this mysterious Captain America and Black Panther game. Well, it is out with a trailer and a title. It is titled Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra. Marvel 1943 Rise of Hydra is an upcoming action-adventure video game and is based on Marvel Comics characters Captain America and Black Panther. Set against an original narrative that derives from the long-running comic book mythology and various adaptations in other media, inspired by the 2010 comic book limited series Captain America / Black Panther, Flags of Our Fathers. The story is set in occupied Paris during World War II and involves American super soldier Steve Rogers forming an uneasy alliance with Azuri, the king of Wakanda, who presently operates as the Black Panther as they attempt to prevent the rise of the organization Hydra. So we were kind of curious to see how this would come out because of the state of Marvel games is kind of weird. Obviously, Spider-Man. We have 2 great games that came out. 3 if you count the Miles game as well. A Wolverine game on the way. But then you had your failures. You had your Avengers game that didn't last, and Midnight Suns, which is kind of a toss-up. Some people like it, some people hate it. But this came out and it kind of blew people away because of its visuals.
Yeah,
it's probably the most stunning thing I've seen in a long time, using their like Unreal Engine and whatnot, and like it looks so hyper realistic, and because you look at it, I'm like, oh, this is like when I react to it, I'm like, this is like a fun little cinematic trailer, cool. But then they come out and they show like the actual like demo of it, and it's the real McCoy. It looks fantastic. So, James, what are your thoughts on this game? Is this something you're going to be potentially playing?
Oh, yeah. First and foremost, this was done during like an Unreal like showcase. So for those of you guys that don't know, Unreal is basically like how they the new technology for making games and processing games and stuff like that. And they Unreal kind of just like opened up their playbook. They're like, bro, we got a new play, and it's Marvel 1943. And they, oh my god, and it was all the stuff you were seeing was rendered in game, and it looked like that. Impressive facial animation, graphics, the material on Cap's suit, all rendered in game and looks so real. So first and foremost, graphics. Like it's not all the end all be all when it comes to a game, but that's good to see. But the second thing is, and I forget the name of the writer, she killed it, but you have the lady who led who is it? Not is it Naughty
She's
Dog
a
who
Naughty
did?
Dog. Yeah, she
Yeah,
worked with all the I forget her name as
Uncharted.
well. Yeah.
All the Uncharted series, the first 2 or even 3 games, who wrote those. And if you played Uncharted, you know those were well written, tight storylines and scripts. And she has her hand and she's running that here. She actually led the presentation for this. So those are 2 great things: good graphics and good storytelling with the game. Now it's just going to be based off of gameplay and how the mechanics work. We'll see. But my gosh, yeah, this took the internet by storm, the gaming industry by storm, and I'm excited to see what this eventually could be. Don't want to get my hopes up too high yet, but I heard a single player, I heard his narrative, and it looks amazing. I'm sold so far. Plus, they got the Black Panther in there. Like, come on. Like, come on. I will say Captain America looks like the Wish version of Captain America from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yeah, he like Crap
he looks
Cap.
just like
He looks like Crap.
Cap.
He looks like Crap Cap. He looks just like him. But my boy here, I forget his name. He played Ezekiel on The Walking Dead. Him as Black Panther is the coolest shit ever. I was like, oh my god, he's so intense. I think he's perfect.
Yeah.
But yeah, just saying, like I have the footage up here. People are seeing it while we're talking here. It's insane to look at because you're like, if you look from far away, it's like, oh, it looks like it's just a regular Marvel movie. But this is all a game.
This is a game, bro.
And I think the first question that, came to, oh, there they are right there. I didn't even know they were in the audience. The first thing that came to my head is like, man, with this looking the way it is this the future? Is this what a future Hogwarts Legacy game could look like?
It's going to be on Unreal Engine 5. Yes, it is. Because they had Hogwarts Legacy had just did a questionnaire with Unreal Engine, and they were talking about the benefits of them using it. Obviously, they used Unreal Engine 4 when they were making it. So the next one is definitely going to be Unreal Engine 5. And if we get just a little bit of what we saw from Marvel's 1943, bro, that character creator is going to be insane in Hogwarts Legacy. Insane. Wait till Fortnite. That's right. I forgot.
Yeah, Fortnite's doing all that stuff too.
That's right.
And it's like it's gonna be so crazy. Like, yeah, like, and they're talking about it in chat too. PC's about to explode on people playing these games. I'm about to we have to play on the PlayStation 7 at this point to play these games. But it's if they can make it work, man, I think this could be really cool because I think that's what they were really shooting for. Amy Henning is her name, by the way.
Henning,
So thank you, Starry Tim. She mentions in the beginning of the showcase, like their dream was to blend those lines of film and animation and gaming and just like really being involved, and where does it where does it meet, and
Yeah.
where you can do so much, where video games will look like how me and you look right now, just make it look that realistic. And it's
Right.
it's insane to see how the technology is going, and I can't wait to see what it looks like 10 years from now. Forget about right now. Like in 10 years, it's going to be absurd. It's going to be a whole new medium. I think movies will look different. I think TV shows will look different. I mean, we already see the technology now with deep faking and de-aging and all that. It's like, my God, the things you can do in film and games are going to be ridiculous.
Yes, bro.
And I can't wait for it. The story looks cool. That's the thing. The story looks cool for this, but man, I'm just more excited to look at the game. I don't even care what the story is at this point. I just want to see what they have for us here in this tremendous looking game. So we cannot wait for that. That's coming out this summer, I believe. No, when did they say it was coming out? No,
they didn't say anything about that.
I'm mixing it up with the Star Wars stuff. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, they didn't say anything about release date.
Yeah, so we're probably not going to get that for maybe a year or two. We'll see how that goes, but we're excited for it. Let us know in the chat. Are you guys excited as well? Let us know your hype level for 1943 Rise of Hydra. But
bro, it's exciting. It's exciting.
It is. But man, I think that's going to basically cover all of our news for this week. Quick, nice and easy. But man, that means we got to move on too. And we got a fun one this week. I'm excited about this one. It's time to hit you for your nonsense draft, baby. Each week we go head to head in a fantasy football style draft where we pick completely off the wall teams relating to that week's topic. You, the listener, get to decide who assembled the best team by voting in our new nonsense draft channel over on Friggin Nerds official Discord server each and every week. Tonight we are drafting. We're going to make a make a 007 film. We're going to cast.
What?
We're going to cast James Bond. We're going to cast a Bond girl. We're going to cast a villain. We're going to add a film location, pick a Bond car, and then name the movie.
Oh shoot!
This is going to be a very, very interesting one.
Oh, and we're using real people.
Yeah, you can use real people, or if you want to mix it up, you can maybe go with a character that already exists. But I think, you gotta pick an actor, and and for the Bond car, you can use a car that already existed in a past movie, or another car. I don't care. Give Bond the Batmobile. Who cares? It's your movie. You're gonna do whatever you want in this movie.
Oh my God.
But before we get to that and flip our big coin here, let's get into last week or 2 weeks ago. The last one we did was video game character restaurants.
That was a fun one.
That was a really good one. I had Professor Garlic as my hostess. Link was my cook. Brock from Pokemon was my head chef. Peach was my waitress. Kratos was the manager, and Serona was my bartender.
Oh my gosh.
Expecto Go Jimmy here had Tom Nook as his manager, Sonic the Hedgehog as the waiter, Tifa as the host, Professor Sharp as their bartender, Swedish Chef as the head chef, and SpongeBob as the cook.
Bro, I better won this one. I better have won this one.
Well, let's see, man. The final scores, went to go check this morning, were James, I said it, at 7, and me at 4.
Let's go.
Let's go.
I
would have voted for yours too, probably, because honestly, it's pretty good.
That's a squad right there.
I'm saying. But yes, okay, we're gonna be casting our new Bond film. Again, caster Bond girl, caster villain, film location, Bond car, and name your movie. which I might save for last. It's gonna be hard to pick them. They all have outrageous names. So we're gonna flip our coin today. I'm gonna do the Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm assuming Tails never fails for you.
Tails never fails.
All right, let's flip it here. Hey, boop, boop. That's a bad flip. Let's get a better one going. That's better. Ooh, heads today, James. I got the first pick here in our make a Bond film draft. I think with mine, I better take them before I lose them. You gotta hit him with my boy Superman himself. Henry Cavill is my James Bond, of course. Sorry,
I gotta go backwards because I don't know. I gotta nail the Bond. How can you be Eva Green, bro? I'm sorry. How can you be Eva Green?
Hey, maybe Eva Green returns as like a different character,
or even Leia Sado, whatever her name is. Like, they were perfect.
Also, consider people who are passed on too. Maybe you have like someone who's dead. That would be a great in your Bond movie.
I'm gonna say the movie location.
Ooh.
I'm gonna start there. I'm torn between Malta or Greece.
Ooh.
Malta's a lot of boats. That would be interesting. My brother played basketball over there. Let's go with Malta. Malta's gorgeous.
Malta. I spell that MOL.
MALTA.
Malta. All right, your location is Malta. All right. All right, for my next pick,
my god. Oh, sorry.
Is that you might have an idea?
Yeah.
Let's see. All right, I'll take my Bond car, and I gotta go with the Aston Martin DB5.
Oh yeah. Got to.
Actually, yeah, that's my favorite one. Although I love the Lotus. You saw me firsthand sit in that car. That Roger Moore also had his butt in there. And I sat in a DB5 too, which is the Daniel Craig one, which is really cool. But yeah, I love that DB5 so much. So that's my Bond car. I get 2 because we're doing a snake draft. Man, I got to cook on the rest of the casting. So I think maybe I'll go with my film location as well, and I'm gonna go with you know what? The homeland. We've rarely had a Bond movie in Portugal, so I'm gonna go with Portugal.
Hey, I like it. I'm going to have some fun with this one.
Let's go.
I'm going to have some fun with this one. Okay. Villain. I'm going to go with M himself, Ralph Fiennes, as the villain. And the Bond girl is going to be none other than Emma Watson herself.
Ooh.
I'm going Emma Watson.
Oh, interesting. Oh, so you gotta find someone who will mesh well with her as Bond.
Oh yeah, I already got him.
Okay.
I have a plan, chat. I have a plan.
All right. Okay. So, let's see. I gotta take out something good, right? I'm looking like it. Oh man. Oh. Oh, do I take this from you? Oh, but yeah, you already picked your Bond girl, so that's free range.
Yeah.
But would she be? I don't
There's
know.
only one perfect one I think that goes well with your
With Cavill.
yeah, and it's Gal Gadot. I think Gal Gadot is perfect with Cavill, just because of the DC thing.
Yeah. Although I did like Dua Lipa and Argyle.
That is true. That is true. I forgot you did.
I did like that Argyle. But like, yeah, I'm also thinking, only because I just saw Oppenheimer finally, and I know she's kind of, if I'm not mistaken, she's a favorite of yours. I think I gotta go with Emily Blunt.
Emily Blunt. Oh, my heart.
She's English.
My heart.
So I think Emily Blunt as my Bond gal, I think would be perfect because she could kick some ass.
Oh.
That's
Laura Croft, yes.
Oh, Laura Croft. I'm surprised Angelina Jolie never was ever in a Bond movie. I feel like she would have been in like the Pierce Brosnan movies. That would have been perfect.
She's not British though.
Yeah, I should fake it, I guess. All right, so I have my Bond, I have my car, I have my location, I have my girl.
You need a villain.
Yeah, then I gotta name the movie. Yeah, naming the movie is the hardest part.
Yeah. All right, so I'm trying to think. What do I have? Wait, did you do 2 or 1?
I did 1, but I'm having trouble. Can we just do 1 apiece on the rest of the way? Unless we have 2. I'm stuck on my villain, dude.
Okay.
I'm so stuck.
So, my villain is Ralph Fiennes. I think I have a location in Malta, and then my Bond girl is not Emily Blunt.
You wish.
I know, is Emma Watson.
Emma Watson, yeah.
My car is the Flying Ford Angular.
Oh, okay.
And Bond himself will be played by none other than it's either that's I'm doing it. I want to ask. Let's just go. Robert Pattinson.
Wow.
Robert Pattinson as my Bond.
Interesting.
So we're going full Harry Potter with the Bond.
Wow.
We got Voldemort. We got Cedric Diggory. We got Hermione. And we got the Flying Ford Angular.
All right.
We're going full Potter.
All right. You know what? I'm thinking about Potter as well. And I think, again, I'm pulling from Oppenheimer again. I gotta pull as my villain. I'm gonna have Gary Oldman.
Ooh. Yeah.
I think
professional.
I think he could be a really good villain.
My Robert Pattinson, by the way, Damia, is the Batman version, not the sparkly vampire version. The Batman, or Tenet, or Lighthouse, or any other movie he's done after the Twilight series. Just to be clear.
So
yes, Raylo's Fifth Element, Gary Oldman, the professional Gary Oldman with young Natalie Portman. Yeah. Speaking of Tenet, there's your villain, Jay. Yeah.
Oh, Tenet would have been a good one too.
Yeah. There we go.
Tenet would be a great cue.
Yeah.
Like passing out the gadgets. All right,
David Tennant would have been great.
he
Yeah.
would have been really good.
But I'm going with Voldemort.
Yeah, Voldemort.
I got to go with Voldy.
So, all right, so we're both stuck on our titles of our movies.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Dave Bautista would have been a good villain. He was great in.
He was Inspector.
Inspector, but they wasted him.
Yeah, he was just like a generic henchman, which
like muscle man.
Yeah. Let's see.
I'm trying to think.
I was gonna call mine. I could see. Because like I'm trying to think of my location in Portugal. I could do like
they do one word or two word ones. Skyfall, Spectre, Quantum of Solace, Casino Royale. They could do one or two word ones. The spy who malted me. Sydney. I can just call it Hogwarts Legacy.
Hogwarts Legacy. MI6 Legacy. Agent Legacy.
Oh my gosh. Cursed Child. Bond's Legacy. Yo. Shadow of the Spectre. It's gotta be a play on Harry Potter and James Bond. Dang it, I said the word. It's gotta be his play on Bond and His Majesty's Auror Service.
Ooh, yeah, something with the imagine like James Bond in the Potter universe. It's like they work at the Ministry. The Ministry is like MI6.
Yeah.
It's like here's your assignment 007. We have some the flu power.
I mean,
network.
Hermione and Cedric, he's alive in this version, obviously. They're grown. So they will be working in the Ministry.
Mandrakes in Malta.
I gotta change my location now. From Malta to I could do Makusa, New York, or just do London. Portland. Golden Wand, the Sorcerer's Assignment. Casino Royale, Spectre.
Real ChatGPT. Perfect.
Ooh. Yo, I'm doing that. I'm gonna do that.
There you go.
Phone. I'm gonna do that.
Have ChatGPT make you a thing.
I'm gonna do that. Wait, I have it open on my phone actually. I want to see. Yeah, I want to see. So the thing is, I have to nail the description. So let me see. What would the name of what would be the name of a Bond film that had Harry Potter themes starring
Oh, License to Lumos.
Oh, that might be it.
That's kind of a good one too.
Yeah, I'm going with that one.
Now, where you going with?
Yep, I'm going with that one. Who said that one?
Raylos. Raylos with ChatGPT.
Yeah. No time to be sorted. Sydney. Oh my god. Diagonally Royal. Oh my gosh. Oh, License to Lumos.
License
Sydney
to
and Ray
Lumos.
Lozose. Starring what's the name of that actor? Robert Pattinson.
Well, that being said, mine's gonna be wicked boring because I've been thinking about this as a title for a long time. I'm just gonna call mine for Queen and Country.
Oh,
Classy, boring, but classy. Let's be real. I mean, you got all the picks for for Harry Potter. Everyone's gonna vote for you. But I'll put it for Queen and Country. It's not bad, right?
no,
I mean, unless you guys want to do ChatGPT for mine as well. I was thinking like Portugal, like From Portugal with Love would be like would be a little boring. Oh, did you give me some? I didn't see them. Let me see. Hit me with them. Although for Queen and Country it wouldn't work anymore because we don't have a queen anymore. Portuguese Pursuit. Sintra Syndicate.
Ooh.
Porto Protocol. That sounds like a Jason Bourne movie. Bom dia forever. Bom dia. How do I do Bom dia? Bom dia, boa noite. Good night, good morning, good night. I'm gonna do that one. No, wait.
Spellbound Espionage is what I got.
So what is it? Spellbound what?
Espionage. No, I like the one Raylos got.
Oh, sit here with Bombarda Bom dia. A view to a vineyard. I'm gonna do my win goes to GPT. Yeah, man, it's hard to do one with Portugal. Like Portugal. Let's see.
Ooh, I could have went with Victor Crumb as the villain.
Oh, that would have been interesting.
And you could even do a love triangle between them and Hermione.
I'm gonna do Portugal. I'm gonna do Porto Protocol. I think it's hilarious.
I like it.
This has gone way too long.
I know.
We're like, all right, guys, we're gonna wrap it up here. We just casted our own custom Bond movies. I went with my Bond as Henry Cavill. The Bond car is going to be Aston Martin DB5. My location will be in Portugal. Emily Blunt is my lovely Bond girl. Gary Oldman is our evil villain. And the name of the movie is called Porto Protocol. James, his location is in Malta. The villain is Ray Fiennes, aka Voldemort. Emma Watson is his Bond girl. The Ford Anglia is his Bond car. Robert Pattinson is going to be the Agent 007. And the name of the movie is License to Lumos, which I think is hilarious.
Hilarious.
So good.
Oh my
But
god.
you guys can hit those votes in our Discord this week to let us know who picked the best movie and which movie you want to see the most. But that's gonna do it for us this week. If you guys couldn't hang out live, don't worry. We're gonna be posting a show on Thursday over on Spotify and YouTube, so you can watch it anytime you want. Follow us on the various forms of social media to search Friggin Nerds Media. Of course, join James over on Expecto Go for Wizarding Wednesday. All that wizarding content at Expecto Go. And that's going to do it for us here. We're going to go into our exclusive post show, which you can catch if you hang out with us live every Tuesday. Until next time, guys, stay friggin' nerdy. I've been Friggin' Nerd Mario.
I've been Friggin Nerd James.
And as always, stay friggin'
nerdy.